morning, wonderful people. Good morning, this blessed 17th of December 2022. Such a delight to have us all here. Eze Philip, Amina Grace, Lacey Wisabo, Hope Sam, Nancy Idehem, Mrs. Inspirer, Eze Anastasia, George Coley Spiff, Justice Asue, Yin Laefa Deleke, Life Issues with Chinere Ubiobasi, Emmanuel Ofem Zita Okore, Grace Shalom Adeze Josie. Such an honor to have you here, bright and early, or should I say dark and early? Because it's still dark outside where I am. But for some of you, it might be bright where you are already. Good to see you. How are you today? Yes, remember, WISER is for action. WISER is not a nugget gathering event. The nuggets are for action. So as we get and develop nuggets from WISER, let's be very intentional about converting these nuggets to action points. Oladipo, Bidemi, I see you. Good morning. Converting the nuggets to action points is the goal, converting nuggets to action. So WISER is for action. I want to see me do a thing or two differently than I used to do before WISER. That's the point. That is the point. That's the point of WISER. As we take notes, let's be very cautious that we are taking notes for action. If my internet goes off at any time, just hold on for a moment. I will switch it to another one. I have 3 different internet providers that I can switch between. So today we're in chapter 17. But before we jump in there, if you haven't heard already, maybe you didn't see it in the WhatsApp group, or by some chance you just didn't see or hear. Today we begin our 2-week water challenge, 2 liters for 2 weeks, from today 17th to 31st. That is 14 days. We are drinking water. We are hydrating ourselves. We're making sure we're staying fresh in this dry, cold season. Dry for some, hot, very, very hot for some, cold for some, dry nonetheless. Festive season all across the world, where we tend to drink less water. We tend to drink more of other things than water. We tend to eat a lot of stuff and not drink a lot of water. So we start our challenge today. We are challenging ourselves to drink more. Very simply, ensure you have water close to you at all times. So this cup of mine is 50 cl. All I need to do is ensure I finish 4 of these in a day. So you can have 4 bottles of 50 cl water and know that you're finishing that in a day. My regular water is 75 cl, so I need to have 3 of those bottles. And if I finish the 3 of them, then I've had 2.2 something liters. So just ensure you have something. Regular teacups are around about 20-25 cl. So if that's what you have, or a glass cup, some glass cups are 25 to 30 cl. Just ensure you finish, count the number. If it's a 20 cl glass, you should take 10 of those in a day. You you should set reminders every few hours to remind you to drink. If you're taking 50 cl, I would advise the first one should be finished. Start it and finish it when you wake up. So let's assume we wake up at 6 a.m., you finish 150 cl, then set your alarm for 9 a.m. for the next one for 12, and the next one for 3. That way, you are sure you are done way before bedtime, so that you don't spend most of your nights getting up to pee, which can destabilize your sleep, right? And we don't want that. We want us to be able to sleep well through the night. So if you can finish your water intake way before 6 p.m., the better. If you can't, if it drags on till 6, why not? You might be uncomfortable for the first few days, and after a while, your body can adjust. It's not guaranteed, but the earlier you can finish with your water for the day, the better. Your tea is not water, so don't drink a cup of tea and say, after all, the whole tea was water. No. That will add to more hydration, right? That does not replace your water. Your Coke is not water. Don't say Coke is 60% water. Don't do that to yourself. No, your Coke is not water, or any other drink that you take, your Lacasera or your Sprite. Even if they are the same color, don't say I'm drinking Mountain Dew and therefore it is water. It looks like water, but it is not. Don't do that. So drink. What are you drinking this morning? Fantastic. So let's jump into our study for the day. I see some names. I see Uzo is here. Good morning. Millicent, Kosiso Chukwu, Osai Precious. I don't think I've missed any other name. Adeze, I think I mentioned your name earlier. Yes. Fantastic. Tinobi, what's out? A whack on the head of a fool. A meal of bread and water in contented peace is better than a banquet spiced with quarrels. I love the reminders that wisdom gives. She just keeps reminding us. She says the same things in several ways. In fact, wisdom is the true MVP of repetition, is the law of deep and lasting impression. If you want to remember something, you keep repeating it until it sticks. The more it is repeated, the more it is likely to stick. For those who attended, was it Titanium Club or... No, I don't think that was Titanium Club. I think that was... what was that coaching program we did last year? Top of the World. We spent the first few lectures, I think, talking about how the brain creates new neurons when we are learning. The brain actually doesn't stay the same from when we are born till when we die. The brain changes. It grows new neurons depending on what we learn. So if you're starting to learn a new language and you're consistent with it, the brain starts creating something like, if you see a field, like you just see a field of grass and you drive through that field of grass once, you see the tire tracks, right? And you start driving through that field every day, back and forth. In about 2 weeks, if you were driving on the same spot, you realize that those tire tracks, the grass on the tire tracks have started changing color. They start getting brownish, right? And then you keep driving there for 3 months. After a while, it will be bare ground on those tracks. It would have become a path, right? You would have created a path on that field. You will no longer see grass there. You will see ground. Drive on that track back and forth for 1 year. Oh my gosh. And it will be difficult for somebody to imagine that there was once grass there at all. Right now, there will be absolutely no form of grass there anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's how it is when we are learning something new and we keep repeating. The brain creates new paths, new neurons. Neurons are the wires, the networks within the brain that creates or transmit information. It creates new neurons. So it's like a road network. The more you pass on it, the more it creates and firms up a neuron. So a neuron might start out being extremely thin, and the more information you feed it with, the thicker it becomes. So those people who are very learned, who constantly feed their brain with good quality information, they don't have the same quality of brain matter as those who don't study. There is a difference. You can dissect a brain and slice it up and look with high-powered machinery, and you can tell the difference between who was heavily read and who wasn't, just by the thickness of their neurons. Not when I say read, not necessarily reading a book, but who was studying so much and taking in a lot of quality information. You can actually see that forensically, right? So wisdom is helping us create new neurons by the quality of how much we hear her say the same thing in different ways. A meal of bread and water in peace. It's better to have a little in peace than to have a lot with all the battles you had to fight through, especially if there were quarrels and you were, in contention with people. A wise servant takes charge of an unruly child and is honored as one of the family. It still takes a village to raise a child. It still takes a community. I know that the world has a lot of scary stories. I know that the world has a lot of scary people. I know that we hear a lot of scary things. At the same time, if we will still focus. Now, I know beyond any doubt that there are still more good people than bad. I know it. Nothing on the face of this earth will change my mind about it. It's just that we tend to talk about the bad more often than the good, for some weird reason. And of course, there are different explanations to that, from science to marketing to storytelling. There are many reasons why we tend to talk about the bad things easier and faster. I can almost say for certain that for every one bad story you hear about how somebody molested a child or abused a child, I can tell that there will be at least 5 other stories how somebody properly took care of that child. But we don't celebrate that because it's normal, right? But the one we hear about somebody's child that was abused, so we've painted our world so much so that it's like it is only the bad that exists, right? As wise people, we really want to be careful about that. We want to be cautious, and we want to question things for evidence, for proof, right? So that we don't always just are sold to bad. So the housemaid, the servant who cares for the child and can take charge of an unruly child is still needed. We still need those people who can tell the child, sit down here or I flog your bum bum, if we believe in flogging, or I send you to the naughty corner if we believe in that, or I put off your TV for one day. It's still okay to have such people who can take charge. Not, so you flogged my child 5 strokes on the cane on the hand. That's how when I'm not here tomorrow now, you will. Don't smear the good someone is trying to do with the bad news you've heard. You can ask deeper questions. And even more, you can agree up ahead what punishments this servant of yours is allowed to met out. You can agree from the beginning, these are the things you're allowed to do to him or her when they step out of line. You can turn off their TV, you can send them to their room, you can stop them from this, you can tell them to sit in this corner, you can, the reflection corner, you can tell them to, so you can have it as a list of things to do. And when you agree with this servant, you also let the child know, these are the things that I have allowed him to do. These are the things that I have given her permission to do. If you step out of line, Miss Grace is allowed to do this. Mr. Anthony is allowed to do that. Okay? And you will comply. If you don't comply with him, you see me when I get back, right? Don't smear the good that people are trying to do with bad. somebody tries to help you carry your luggage at the airport or at the bus park because they see that you're struggling and say, no, don't help, don't worry. This world now, for somebody to come and carry and put my something, you'll become cynical. And wisdom warns us about cynicism. Yesterday I had a bit of a struggle. At the airport, there was a woman with three young children, all under the age of 4. I think the younger two might have been twins. They looked very alike and about the same size. And I wanted to help her. My first thought was, I hope then I said, Joyce, don't do this. So I went and helped her to carry one of the children that would agree. I said, okay, which one of you will agree? And she said, okay, this bigger one will. You could see she was relieved. But guess what? She by herself had not asked anybody for help. My mind was saying maybe she has, she's trying to be careful. She's trying to do the right thing. I know that I would have said to somebody, excuse me, I need help. Who can help me hold this one while I hold this, please? Well, that's because my mind is filled. I'm not saying I don't know her, so I'm not saying that that's what she's thinking. I'm just saying that I thought that's what she might have been thinking. Like, hey, let me not go and ask a stranger to carry my child. Then if something happens, they will say, Madam, what were you looking at? You went to call stranger to carry your baby. That might have been. Those are real concerns. How do we strike the balance? I think one of the things to really do is to fill our minds to the brim with good, including but not limited to decreeing the work of the angels to be activated. I totally, completely understand the role of angels. And if you study the word of God and you see angelic interventions powerfully at different points, watching over people, Hagar and her child, giving directions even to the prophets, appearing in dreams, I see that angelic intervention is real. They showed up at several times within the word. So I've always been sold out to the work of the angels every day since David, my son, is 20 now. Since David was born, I have decreed angels that are assigned to him to take their place and do that which they've been created for. I also decreed for myself and the rest of my family. But especially, it made his birth made me go back to study angelic intervention even more, because there was a day I was carrying him. I don't think he was up to 4 months, maybe 4 or 5 months. I was carrying him on the bed, and that bed was quite high, and he fell off from my own hand. I dozed off, and this baby rolled off and landed on the floor. It was his landing on the floor that woke me up. Doom! That bed was higher than normal. I think it was even higher, maybe about the kind of height of my bed now. So that would make it, well, I don't know how to do the calculation right now. A very high bed. That child landed. And I said, if this was another stranger now, a help, carrying him and he fell, I don't know how I would have treated her. Well, I know me, Joyce. I can be very understanding. I would just say, oh man, next time put pillows here, this and that. I know those kind of things don't make me shout, scream, and say, what wickedness. No, I don't. That's not how I react. Those are not the things that tick me off. I'm very easy to say that could have been me. That's just me. Maybe because I've developed myself that way. So he landed, and I was like the angels of God. And guess what? This child didn't cry. He landed on the floor, not on pillow. And the child just continued his sleep. And I remember that it was dark. It was in the middle of the night. And I was like, somebody must have held him, because it couldn't have been me that protected him. The boy was still asleep. And at that moment, I was aware. I'm not saying I felt something, but I was aware of angelic presence. And I said, there's someone that is dedicated to the care of this child. Not me. I'm not going to be there when he's in school, when he's crossing the road, when he's drinking something he found somewhere. There has to be, God in his infinite wisdom had to have guards watch him, and it cannot be me. And that day I became so aware. So I now studied the word. And the first one that hit me so hard was the case of Hagar when she was leaving her master's house. And an angel of the Lord appeared and said, I have watched over you. Drink water here. See a well created here for the lad. And I said, what? He was watching? If he could watch over Hagar, who was not part of the promised line of heritage, and how about me, who believes that I am a part of the heritage of the Lord? Wow. So that was the end. And I mean the end. And I mean it with all my heart. That was the end of my concern over the safety of my children. That day it ended. They have angels watching them. And I remember so many stupid journeys that we took, some stupid because they were out of the way. When you leave school to go visit your friends in another city, just for fun, honest fun, just to go visit your friends somewhere, and you just get on the bus and go to where, right? And you came back safe. There had to be somebody watching. My parents weren't there, when we were in SS2 and we jumped fence, as it were, and went to FGGC for their Miss Press. Was it Miss Press or Miss Dramatic? We went to go and attend their Miss Dramatic event. And we left our own school, FGGC at Bloma. Our parents weren't watching us. There had to be some mechanism for safety, even though we were being foolish. So that ended completely my concern ever about safety of children and safety of self. Safety of self. Yes, just nonsense things to jump fence to go and eat one kind of rice. Or there was ours was not rice and pepper soup. There was something else. There was one pepper something, bole and fish. To jump school, to go and eat bole and fish. For goodness sake, bole and fish that you will see eat when you're in your father's house, right? But we survived. That doesn't mean that we become careless, but that made me know that it reinforced my personal trust and belief in another set of eyes watching over. So we come back to the case that made us go this segue. A wise servant takes child of an unruly child. You might have them in your home. You might even be that person who is taking charge of an unruly child that is not yours. But in the circumstances, you might need to step up to the plate. And when we talk about unruly children, we're not just talking about we're talking about being your neighbor's keeper. There are people within your estate who are young. You see that they're under the age of 18, but they're just constantly misbehaving and hanging around. Don't say, well, what are the parents doing? Sometimes you need to step in. After all, you are the secretary of the estate committee. You go, you intervene, and you go and tell the parents, not as a way of fighting or as a way of accusing them that they're doing a poor job. No, you go and you say to them, look, your children are same age as my children, or even younger or older. It doesn't matter. Your children, I'm taking them as mine. If I see them step out of line, I will join you in raising them. I will discipline them. I just came to let you know that you have an ally in me. I will not watch them misbehave and walk away. I will call them to order. And if I need to flog them, I will. I came to report myself ahead. If you hear that somebody intervened, it might be me, because I would want someone else to watch out for my child the same way. So I am your ally in this. I'm not fighting you. It still takes a village to raise a child. You're not always here. Sometimes I walk by and I see them in that corner doing this or that. I will intervene. And if I ever need to call police to arrest them so that they can be arranged and we can recall them now before they turn into something else, and let police intervene, right? Know that I'm doing this as your what? Ally. And maybe it's not just permission I'm asking for. I'm telling you I will do this because there are other children in this estate, and I will protect those ones too from anyone who wants to step out of line. All right? They might be shocked looking at you. They might say, thank you. They might say, don't try it. You just say, well, I've put you in notice. And if you will be opposed to it, then I would expect you to hold them in such a way that they do not make me to force my hand. I will take my place as this. I've done things like this in the past, and I will. Oh, yes. The thing is, remember, is the process. It's that you have made it known that you will intervene so that when they hear, they know. Not that, why did you do that to my child? You should have come to talk to me first. Yes, I agree with that. You could have talked to the parents first and say, why should I talk to you? Then our estate, I will still prefer you go and tell the parents that this is what you will do. If I see them, I will step into my role as a parent, as a citizen, as an adult. And if I have a role within this estate as that function, I am welfare officer. I will watch out for the welfare of this association and this estate. So step into it. That's the guts that wisdom gives us. I'm saying it because some of us might have thought about it. We say, if I go and do now, they will call me aproko. We are in the business of aprokoism. We're in the business of doing what we were not sent to do. Who sent me to our arrange WISER? Who sent you to buy data and show up here? That's what we do in trying to fix the world. We are aprokes. We do waiting, no consign us. Who sent you to go and draw business plan nicer than... Look, it's what we do. We step in, we take charge. We step in, we take charge. And if somebody corrects your child outside and you hear that they corrected your child who was roaming about, then don't be foolish by attacking the person. Why did you go and talk to him? No! See through that. Your child was where your child shouldn't have been, and an adult stood and said, get out of here. You say, thank you. Thank you. And then you deal with the child in-house. But don't go and fight the person who is, don't do it. Because sometimes we do it because we are ashamed. So we do it as a response from the place of guilt. It's like, this person has uncovered my shame. Look, it is people who don't have shame that make progress in life. The more shame you have, the more sense of shame you have, the more you will protect yourself from growth. You will hide yourself from healing. It is the wound that is opened and treated. You have to open the wound, pour in the tincture. You have to pour in the iodine or the methylated spirit. But if you just cover that wound, use cloth, wrap, and it go smell, it will become rotten and it will hurt you more. So that shame is that we're trying to cover the fact, look, you had to work. You had to work. You had to work. You had to work. You're not a bad parent. You're busy. And we understand it's the truth. Hence, we appreciate help. So not, are they trying to make me look like I'm a bad father and I'm a bad mother? Why didn't she call me first? Yes, I understand she could have called, but that's not the issue here. Thank you for your intervention. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Let me deal with it from here. Thank you. And it's okay to say, I need help. I'm out of the house 18 hours a day. I need help. Thank you for helping. It's okay to sit at that time and cry and say, thank you. Thank God I have neighbors who can still help me look out for my children. That's the time when you're opening the wound and allowing it to heal and saying, thank you. And you might even now go and sit with them to structure better help and say, are you always home? From what time to what time are you home? Okay. So is it okay? Is it okay if from 4 to 6, I send my children to your house? Can call this your house help. What I would do is I will make sure they come with their own food and water, just so that they're in a place where people, yes, they're 15, they're grown, but it's obvious somebody still needs to keep their eyes on them. And the person might say, I don't mind. Look, life is not supposed to be as hard as some of us have made it, not because we are bad people, but because we have been limited in knowledge, limited in courage. And some of us were just not aware that there are options like that. Yes, it still takes a village. It still takes a village. It still takes a village. Of course, within the confines of where you are and the laws that prevail and all of that. I'm speaking about Nigeria, where I am. And you can have conversations, right? It still takes a village. It still takes a village. It still takes a village. Verse 3, as silver is in a crucible and gold in a pan, so our lives are refined by God. The refining process isn't sweet, isn't funny. Please understand the picture of gold in a pan and silver in a crucible. What is a crucible? For those, crucible has, okay, a ceramic or metal container in which metals or other substances may be melted or subjected to very high temperatures. A crucible takes in a lot of heat. So when there's some things we go through that are of high heat, it seems like we're in the fire. We need to interact with the information that I just might be going through a process of refinement here. This fire is too much not to be refinement. That's how I choose to think. This thing I am going through is too hot. It has to be refinement. So what is trying to what dross is the Lord trying to take away? What weakness is the Lord trying to take away? What lessons am I supposed to learn? It's the quality of information that is within your heart that shows up when you are in trouble. Even the Bible says that in the day of adversity, if you faint, you were never strong in the first place. If in the day of high adversity, all you are saying is, why me? After all I've done for the Lord, I've paid my tithe. Oh, why? Then it means you've been one-sided in the quality of knowledge you've taken. You've not seen this part, that it could be a refining process. You've not seen other parts that it's just life, that life happens to everybody, right? And say, well, it's life. So when you say, why me? Why me? Why not me? If somebody else has a problem and you go, oh, sorry, oh, it's well, or this life, then it happens, you say, why me? It's sorry, who are you? Hello, you are, life happens to everyone. Who are you? So why not you? Why not me? And in fact, why not you who has all the knowledge in the world that should keep you sane in the place of difficulty? Why not me? Why not me? Why not me? The quality of what is in your heart will show up when you are in trouble. How fast you deteriorate, how fast you fall down yakata tells what was in you. All that word you were gathering in the first place, what was it for? Is it only for the day of good? It's especially for the day of adversity. So when there's trouble, you know how to respond. Joseph went through this. Hey, I celebrate the fact that I'm now here. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. You mean, Joyce, you have qualified to be in the lion's den. You too, they're writing petitions against you. Wonderful. The way they wrote against Daniel. You have arrived. You have arriven. You will clap, celebrate, and sip a little water or juice or whatever it is you sip in celebration. And celebrate the fact that you have arrived. You are now in that same place where Joseph was. Wow. Where Daniel was, I beg your pardon, not Joseph. And even Joseph was accused by Potiphar's wife. You mean you have gotten to this level where the king's wife is trying to sleep with you? Wonderful. Not the king, Potiphar's wife. Tells the quality of what is in you. Evil people relish malicious conversation. The ears of liars itch for dirty gossip. Be careful, little ears, what you itch for. Be careful. Let's catch ourselves in 2023. What we itch for. How comfortable we are in the place of sitting with gossip, conversations that have nothing to do with us but are unearthing the dirt of someone else. Except, of course, the person is a presidential candidate, gubernatorial candidate, or the person is a candidate of sorts. They've put themselves up for public scrutiny. That's a different kettle of fish. But when the person is just going about their quiet business and somebody is digging into their lives to say, did you hear? Did you know? Check yourself and say, no, this, why am I excited by this? Why is this sweeting me? It's okay to sweet you for a few seconds and then catch yourself and say, why is this sweeting me? This shouldn't be. I shouldn't be happy about this, and stop it right there. You will now look like you're the killjoy. You're the one who they can't even joke with. Can't somebody even joke with you? It's okay. I always say it's okay to be that person that people can't joke with you with nonsense. It's fine to be the oversabi who they can't even, if you go and tell Joyce this one, and she will ask you whether it is. It's okay. It's who we are. It's what we are. There's certain things that we won't joke about, and it's fine. Yes, it doesn't mean that we will be so tight we don't have fun, but there's so much fun that can be clean and not involve gossip of somebody else. So it's okay to be that person who you can't joke with anyhow. Remember, it's what? It's okay. Some of us want to be so accepted by everybody that, we now laugh so that it won't be as if it's okay not to laugh, and it's fine. No, this one I'm not going to laugh about. And I don't think it's what we should be laughing about. Somebody's bad news. Why are we excited about it? No, I don't agree. Y'all, I love you. See y'all later. It's okay for that to be your reputation. And after a while, people don't even bring it to you. And if they must bring it, they say, Joyce, let me just tell you. I want to tell you because I will hear. Not that, wait first. I'm not trying to share gossip. I'm just asking. Let them know who you are. Know what you stand for. It's fine. Whoever mocks poor people insults their creator. Gloating over misfortune is a punishable crime. Gloating over misfortune, regardless of how it came. Let's be careful. Even if that person was the baddest person in the office, in the organization, now they're in a place of misfortune. That's not the time to say, I think it's just, oh, well. You know how we say it's well and we move. The Lord watches for our actions, our inactions, our thoughts, and it's okay to say, well, I know it happened. I'm sorry for them because they... Gloating over misfortune is different from seeking justice. Two different things. Gloating over misfortune is different from seeking justice for when somebody has misbehaved. I'll just leave that right there. I'm tempted to talk about a certain former governor who was on Instagram Live praying when they were at his door, knocking the EFCC for, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to leave that right there. Old people are distinguished by grandchildren. Children take pride in their parents. Children take pride in their parents. It's okay. It's okay to want to be heroes to your children. It's okay to want that. Remember, they take pride in their parents. And old people are distinguished by grandchildren. So forgive your parents who are always breathing down your neck to say, when are you going to give me grandchildren? Forgive them. Just look at them and go, don't worry, it's okay. I understand. It's your time because they're distinguished by so. Right? And if that conversation is, let's say you do not plan to have children until a certain time, you're getting married, but yourself and your spouse have agreed that you will not have children within 5 years. You might go to the key people, it's an option. You might go to the key people to say, please don't ask us about children for the first 5 years because we want to finish our masters, we want to do this, we want to do that. We have checked about the biology. The reason you sent us to school is so that we could study. We could study enough. The reason you have trusted me with all these different trainings is so that I can make good decisions. My decisions now might be different from yours, but trust that that's why you trained me, right? We will make the right decisions. The children will come. We don't want to get into this situation where this, that, and the other. So please, 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 for the first 5 years, we beg you in the name of God, don't ask us. Don't ask my wife. Don't call my husband, please. If you call to greet us, greet us. After 5 years, if you want to ask, we will not be angry. But the first 5 5 years. Thank you. God bless you. They might argue with you, fight with you, but you have been so clear, right? And if it's that you're trying, and it's not happening, then it's good upfront to create parameters within which conversation should be had, not be had. These are things that we expect that couples will be taught on the way to being married, but some are not taught how to deal with adversity, because instead of teaching how to deal with adversity, we say adversity will not come. It does come. So if you get married and within 3, 4 years, 10 years, you're not able to have children, how do you deal with in-laws? How do you deal with family members? What will be the contingency plan? And some will just say, God forbid to never be my portion. Don't do that. That's not diligence. Diligence is that you have a plan just in case. And say, I will tell my parents, this is, so what if your siblings now come and start disturbing your wife? Your parents start calling, what if your parents bring you a second wife? What would you do? Would you also say, God forbid? Or at that time, what happens? So let's have an idea and come to an agreement. What could be? Some will say, no, if you talk about it now, it means that you're attracting it. It's like saying that because you bought padlock for your gate, you have started attracting thieves, or because your car has a lock, you know. It's wise to know, because that is the reality of life. Many couples don't go through these things. So good to know what could be, right? And plan for it so that you are better prepared. We don't expect eloquence from fools, nor do we expect lies from our leaders. So when our leaders lie to us, we are very upset. The same way we don't expect fools to speak eloquently. The people, when we say eloquence, it's not just about the elocution, it's also about the richness of the content. Because if the content is rich and well delivered, then is that person still a fool? Maybe not. So as leaders, we're not expected to lie to our children, to our staff, to the people in our constituencies. There are actually courses offered by different institutions on how to communicate leadership communication. There are those courses offered. So if you're going into a place of leadership, it's okay in 2023 to buy a course that will teach you leadership communication, how to communicate when things are bad. I actually saw it as one of the modules in one of the courses at Kennedy School of Government. All those, they're short 3-month courses. One of the modules there was how to communicate when things are bad. It's a leadership and governance course. And this is just one of so many that I've stumbled on the internet. The best way to put it when something is going wrong, so that you don't lie, which is what sometimes people lie because they're trying to be good. Remember, hell is filled with people with good intentions. You don't want to, you're trying to manage the situation, you end up lying about it. It just shows that you haven't learned how to say the truth in a way that is. Receiving a gift is like getting a rare gemstone. Any way you look at it, you see beauty refracted. Oh, we love gifts. We all do. So it's good to maybe put in some thoughts into what gift you might extend to somebody this season. What gift? It doesn't have to be a whole lot, just what you can at your own level. Even if it's a packet of Maggi, a packet of salt, 1 pack of spaghetti, it's just beauty refracted that we might give. Nancy Obwe, thank you for always giving me all sorts of gifts that I have loved. There's one hanging in my room right now. I think I'm going to use it today. Thank you. And the others, I remember Nancy because hers might be the most recent. Thank you. Overlook an offense and bond a friendship. Fasting onto a slight and goodbye friend. Overlook an offense does not mean that you don't talk about it. It just says it means that you don't let it destroy the friendship. So I go to my friend Doris and I say, Doris, I don't think you meant any harm. I just need to pull it to your attention that this thing you did really, really hurt me. In fact, I don't even know why it hurt me, or I know why it hurt me. It hurt me because you and I had talked about this before. And I know that it was from a good place. The only reason I'm talking about it so that it doesn't sit somewhere that it shouldn't. I just wanted you to know that I was hurt. Please, next time, just be a bit more careful with this. Please, 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 please. It has taken me all the strength in my life, all the courage to come and say this to you. I don't want you to also say it and take it the wrong way. I love you. I know you love me. I'm just saying this so that I can move on. I've seen in the past that when I keep quiet and I don't talk, after a while, one day it might come off. It might spill and you'll wonder where it came from. I don't want that to happen to us. I love us. I enjoy our friendship too much to let this small thing destroy us. That's the only reason why I brought it up, right? Because you may not know that it hurt me, and the next time you do it from a good place, please, this particular one, don't do it. That my shoe, please don't wear it. I beg you. That shoe, I carry am like egg. Wear any other shoe of mine, but this one. In fact, this one I go dash you safe if you want. But you see this particular one that you wore today, please, 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 please. This one, don't wear it. I beg you, please. And it's not that the shoe is more important to me than our friendship. No, 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 at all. It can never be. Just that this shoe is just what it is. All right. I know means I no go go wear your shoe. I go still wear. So show me which of your own I shouldn't wear, so that I won't now pain you tomorrow, right? A quiet rebuke to a person of good sense does more than a whack on the head of the fool. So let's rebuke. Rebuke how? Quietly. Sometimes it's how the rebuke is done that is the matter. The rebuke can be done in such a way that it's such a pain. The person is not able to get past it. The rebuke can also be done quietly. It depends. Criminals out looking for nothing but trouble won't have to wait long. They'll meet it coming. Trouble is everywhere. If you're looking for trouble, trouble will find you faster than you can even see Jack. So trouble is everywhere. So even when you're not looking for trouble, it's everywhere. It happens to everyone. Better to meet a grizzly robbed of her cubs than a fool hell bent on folly. Or folly. Is that folly? It is my prayer today that the angels that watch over us will protect us from the fools along our way, because they can be very destructive. May we not run into the hands of fools hell bent on folly. And should we encounter them, may we have the wisdom to know how to go around it, whether to run away or to stand and have the conversation. May we have the strength to run fast away from fools. Those who return evil for good will meet their own evil returning. Why does this even happen in the first place? Why am I returning evil for good someone might have done? Perhaps I didn't see the good as good. Perhaps they corrected my child and I saw it as evil rather than good, and so I repaid them in return. So there's sometimes that good might not be appreciated as good, and there's sometimes that evil thoughts will just fill our hearts because we are human. It's for us to be aware, because those thoughts come and we just catch them and send them back to where they're coming from and prevail over it with actions of good. The start of a quarrel is like a leak in a dam. Stop it before it bursts. This small quarrel can stop here. We can say sorry now. If not, by the time it becomes a big issue, we may not be able to stop it or quell it. Whitewashing bad people and throwing mud on good people are equally abhorrent to God. The fine art of not washing bad, whitewashing bad. You've seen this person is the bad person, but you're still hailing them all the hailing. It's just the same way you throw mud on good people, because their own good is over sabi. Who sent them? Don't they know this is Nigeria? The other day I was at the filling station and the security guards were trying so hard to stop those who were trying to come in illegally. They were trying so hard. And one guy from inside the filling station came and still found a way to open the gates, fought with them somewhat, and allowed one car come in. And I could see the frustration all over the face of this man who had been struggling to keep. So I called him. I was calling him. Hey, Madam, don't worry, I'm not opening the gate for you. I said, no, I'm not trying to drive in. Come. I just wanted to say, well done. I've watched you, how you're struggling with this. Bad will always try to fight back. I just want to say, well done. Keep it up. He was like, oh, Madam, thank you so much. You could see that. And I said, say to your colleague, I was waving at her, please tell her that I said, well done. He was closer to me. Well done. What you're doing is the right thing. Keep it up. 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 And guess what? There was someone else who was standing, who had come out from a car and was shouting at them, right? The reason I did that, yes, was because someone was shouting at them. Say, nobody for this Lagos, nobody for this Nigeria. We must enter. All these nonsense people are doing over Sabi, those kind of things. That nonsense. So people have been on the queue. So what? He will enter this place. So they were bent. They now had to move their cones in such a way that after a while, the guy drove off. So they needed, see how he was throwing mud on them for trying to do good, calling them names, screaming down at them. I think he had tried to offer money and that didn't work. And so he was grabbing at straws. So wherever you can encourage someone who is struggling to still do good, please do. Don't be part of those who will pull them down because of how desperate we are at the time where we need the petrol so bad. Let pressure get the best out of us, not the worst. What's this? Fools out shopping for wisdom? They won't even recognize it if they saw it. They won't recognize it if they saw it on first look. Or perhaps if they continue to search, because many of us have been foolish or are foolish in one way or the other. Many of us, myself included, will continue to shop for wisdom now that we know we should shop for it. And even when we don't recognize it, we keep such shopping until at some point, perhaps we see a glimpse, a ray of light. Let's continue to shop. One who knows much says little. Winding speeches that keep on going, meanwhile the point is not being made. It's attend a training. Attend a training on how to clarify your thoughts so that when you speak, you go straight to the point and not wind so much, so that when you speak, you say it with as much brevity as possible. You say it as briefly as you can so that you don't say so much and then you've not said much. Friends love through all kinds of weather, good and bad. That's what we want to do in 2023. We want to love through all kinds of weather. And families stick together in all kinds of trouble. That they send your person, your friend, your sibling, your spouse, your child, your parent to jail for something they did wrong. That's not the time to abandon them, even if they were indeed guilty. That's the time to go sit with them and say nothing. You go to that jailhouse to visit them and you might just say absolutely nothing. You can just hold their hand if possible, give them something to eat, sit down and say nothing. Sometimes the best solution is just silence. Just silence. Just so that they know you are there. You visit them and you just sit down. And sometimes you give a fist bump. That may not be the time to say, how did we get here? See how you have shamed us. See where you have put us. They already know. They know. They know. You don't wait till 8 a.m. to know that the sun is shining. People who have done bad many times, they know. Families will stick together in all kinds of trouble. In all kinds of trouble. Like the Northerners will say, they might just say Sanu. Sanu means so much. We might say it is well. we might say pele, we might say they're different things, but else you can just be silent. You go visit someone who has lost somebody, that's not the time to start saying, that's not necessarily the time to say, oh, why are you crying as if you don't know where they are in a better place? Please keep quiet. They're mourning at that time. You just keep quiet and sit down and say Sanu. And just keep quiet. Sorry. That's all. You might be tempted to say a lot. Keep quiet at that time. That's loving. Except that sometimes they say something, please talk to me. Talk to me. And then when they're saying talk to me, you might just say, it is well. Sorry. Come to jailhouse with food. One cooler for the person, the other one for chairman. Please, it's very important. Just show up through all kinds of trouble. Health, medical challenges, money challenges. You might not have money to give, but they know you are here. I may not have money to bring. That's why I brought food. There was food in my house. It's the one I brought. Just to try. It's stupid to try to get something for nothing or run up huge bills you can never pay. Don't use faith to do foolish things. I've been there. I've done one or two foolish things in faith, believing that God will come through. There was absolutely no plan on ground. Nothing but, let me take this step in faith. Somebody simple. So Joyce, where do we draw the line between faith? The different examples from the Word of God showed me that the people who made such leaps had serious substance, to the point where they said, if I perish, I perish. So this thing that you call faith, are you at the point of if I perish, I perish? Literally. I'm going in there to see the king, to talk about him and co. And if I perish, I perish. If I die, I die. I'm not going to bow to you, Nebuchadnezzar. And even if God won't deliver me, it's fine. If we die, we die. Throw us into the fire. Sometimes the things we say in faith are up here. We're not, if I perish, I perish level. Sometimes you will determine that line for yourself at the end of the day, whether this is faith or this is foolishness. But if we are really going to follow everything we've seen in wisdom from day one till today, there's a lot of work to be done. Faith is shown by action. This thing won't be done without a foundation. I have a job that pays me 70,000 naira a month, but I'm going to put my children in a school of 350,000 a term. In 3 months, I don't earn 350, I earn 210. And that is complete without taking away food, transport, all of that. And I'm putting my child in a school of 350 that I need to pay every 3 months. That's not faith. Because you've not shown me that, where is God going to bring that, or that you want to turn him to a magician and say, no, God will make a way. No, that's now stupid. Trying to get something for nothing, to run up huge bills you can't pay. That's not wisdom. That's not faith. If it's not wise, it's not faith. That's what I think. But then again, these are my opinions adding to what wisdom is saying in front of us. At the end of the day, we still choose. The person who courts sin marries trouble. Build a wall, invite a burglar. Hang around sin so much, you're inviting trouble. Remember the other day we said, run. When she's calling out in the street, run. Don't try and dupe our mic. Run. Don't do Michael Power. Run. A bad motive can't achieve a good end. Double talk brings you double trouble. If the intention was bad in the first place, you will not get a good result. So check motives. Why are you trying to send your child to that school you can't afford? Why are you going to live in a house with rent that is not along the scale of your salary? What's that motive? Is it to prove a point to someone, your village people who said that you will never make it in life? So now you want to show them that you are making it in life. That's a bad motive. It will not end well. And I'm asking myself too. Remember, I've always said that WISER is a study for me that other people are joining me in. Everything I'm saying to me. I'm questioning Joyce right now. Joyce, why do you want to go and see that movie that is 7,000 naira because it is new? Avatar, 7,000 naira in some cinemas because it's still new. Meanwhile, you have not finished paying for this, that, and the other. What are you trying? What's your motive? That's folly. You better wait till next year when it's on Netflix. The movie will still be there. You know, why? Why do I want to do that and take my friends and say, I beg, something must kill a man. Let's go and enjoy. And I will spend half my salary to take 3 of my friends to go and watch cinema. I say, I beg. Let's just wait in. Then you come back and iron eye shining. What's your motive? How about you plan that something must kill a man within what you can afford? And say, okay, we can't go and see Avatar, but at least we can pay 1,009 for Netflix. All of us will sit down in front of this Netflix today and choose which movie we want and enjoy ourselves. So what's the motive? Check the motives. Check the motives. Check. You can't get good out of a bad motive. It will mess you up. Having a fool for a child is misery. Oh God, please deliver us from such. It's no fun being the parent of a dolt at all. So we're going to double, triple, quadruple invest in training that child, teaching that child, and most importantly, in loving that child. The child that seems to bring us the most grief sometimes might just be that child that needs the most love and expressions of love. There might be something on the line that we don't know, but we might only discover when we fall into the place of love. Not who is my village people that have sent this child to me to punish me for all my sins. Remember, it is in time of adversity we know what is really inside you. It means that you have always secretly kept that belief that your village people have power enough to harm you. That's why it has come out of your mouth today. But if you never even had that interaction, it will be, what do I do about this child? How do I find? There must be something I'm missing. Where do we go? What do we check? Right? Not, my village people have sent you. I will show you. You will tell them that you didn't see me. You will tell them that you didn't see me. You, this child, you will show them. You know, I think they sent it to me. You are the Obanje. You will tell them that you did not see me. A cheerful disposition is good for your health. Gloom and doom leave you bone tired. So one of our missions in life, starting from today, extending through 2023, is to ensure that we find ourselves in cheerful dispositions. Therefore, we're going to be very intentional. If it means watching one comedy skit every morning, as long as it's also good for your development. There's some comedy that make you foolish, right? There are some kinds of comedy that make you foolish. There's some quality of jokes that you hear and are not for you. They are funny, but they leave a sour taste about issues of life. So be careful also. Watch the quality of comedy that is now your thing. So if it's you want to watch something that makes you laugh, or you want to count your blessings, whatever it is you're going to do what you need to do to ensure a cheerful disposition in 2023. The wicked take bribes under the table. They show nothing but contempt for justice. That's just who they are. We have to find our way around them. The perceptive find wisdom in their own front yard. Fools look for it everywhere but right here. Remember, wisdom is shouting everywhere. So you might just step out of your door and you see wisdom right there. Wisdom is close by because you're perceptive, right? So let's always look out for her. And if we're not getting wisdom easily, then check. Maybe there's something else we're missing, right? Maybe we're still being fools about something. A surly, stupid child is sheer pain to a father, a bitter pill for a mother to swallow. Wisdom and repetition. May we not be pains to our parents, even at our age. May we not be the bitter pills to our parents. It's wrong to penalize good behavior. This person was trying to do good, even if they didn't know the right way, but they were trying to do good. Please don't penalize it. Rather, correct it, redirect it. It's wrong to penalize good behavior or make good citizens pay for the crimes of others. That's why many of us who believe that we have the right skill set, the right knowledge, the right heart, need to be in places of governance, leadership and governance. And sometimes the only route there is politics, because we operate a democratic system that is run by politics. Nigeria is not a monarchy or an oligarchy. We are a democracy right now. I, Joyce Daniels, I do not believe it's the best form of governance for us. Democracy, no, I don't. But that's what we have. And if that's all we have right now, then we will find how to be a part of the politics. Politics is the method to elect people in a democracy. So we cannot foolishly, I dare say, continue to condemn the politics that is the only channel to leadership, the pipeline to the quality of leaders we have. Rather, we will join movements, or better still, get into places of learning that show us how to fix politics. How to fix politics. You can't fix what you don't understand. You cannot see a car broken down and try to fix it if you've never learned the rudiments of or the mechanics of a car. You can't just guess and say, okay, maybe it's this fuse. You will spoil the car more. So trying to fix politics that we haven't learned and understood how it works will cause us more damage. That's why some people, good people, well-meaning, well-intentioned people try to get into politics, but you only make it a little worse because they never knew what to do in the first place. We just had good intentions. So it is a foolish thing, and please write it in capital letters, a foolish thing to condemn politics that we are not a part of. So I recommend two things. The Electoral College, Nigeria, if you go on Twitter, in fact, if you just Google the Electoral College Nigeria, I'm sure their next cohort will start maybe in January or February. I'm not sure. I'm guessing. So it's not good to say I'm sure. I guess their next cohort will start soon. It's a few weeks program, maybe 16 weeks. You have one lecture every Friday for the number of weeks, just one lecture, 2-hour lecture per week for several weeks, where they teach different things about politics and elections and electoral. You will hear things you've never heard before, especially if you were like me, who was completely green. It's free. You just pay 3,000 naira for what? For admin. Now I am willing to sponsor 10 people. It must be that you can't afford the 3,000. It must be. It won't be that, well, Joyce says she's going to sponsor 10 people, so I will take one. No, it's 3,000 only if you can afford it, pay. But if you know that it will really squeeze you, send a message to us. You have the official Joyce Daniels number. Nancy will respond and say you're interested in attending the Electoral College program on scholarship. I would take 10. So that will be 30,000, right? And guess where I'm taking that money from? Because I graduated as best graduating female from the School of Politics, Policy and Governance class of 2022, I was given a cash gift of 100,000. I am taking from that cash gift to support some other people who want to start the journey in understanding politics and policy and governance. The rest is for me to enjoy. Yes, that's other 70K is for flanging. That part is enjoyment money. Yeah. After working hard, they gave me money to enjoy. I will enjoy. But I'll take 30% of that to invest in somebody else who wants to get some knowledge. That's one. Two, second place is the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. If you Google it now, the School of Politics, Policy, and Governance, that is a 10-month rigorous learning in understanding politics, policy, and governance in the Nigerian, I dare say, African context. That one is 10 months. You have classes, you have 3 hours of lectures 4 days a week. Tuesday to Friday, you are in class 3 hours, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. for 10 months. That's the one I graduated from, and I was best female graduating student. It is worth learning. You will hear things you had never heard. In fact, I was just saying, God, thank you. I didn't join politics 4 years ago. Without this knowledge, I would have made all the mistakes. I'm like, Joyce to join them. She not even fit, because I wouldn't have. Look, I would have been trying to many of us are trying to perform surgery. Now you're driving your car, your children are in the car with you, you have an accident, and one of the children has a dislocation, right? And because you love that child, you're the child's mother or father, you love the child, you're not trying to fix the dislocation. Are you a doctor? Have you learned which bone goes where, which nerve is where? Out of love, you are now pressing the bone and saying, because I love you, I'm sure I'll fix it. You're pressing. You will cause more problem. That's what many of us are trying to do in politics. And we think that we can just learn it, God. I was like, thank God I didn't join before. I would have been that person, like many of us. Hell is lined with people with good intentions. Many of us will have good intentions, but good intention without the right knowledge will cause us trouble, more trouble. That child will be in pain. You're trying to fix her dislocation or her fracture. Meanwhile, you are not an orthopedic surgeon. Problem. So go there, set a reminder. I think the next cohort will start taking admissions. They will start taking applications, not admissions. They will start taking applications from about April, May next year, I think. Set a reminder. Go to your calendar now and put in there April next year. Set a reminder to look out for admissions for the School of Politics, Policy, and Governance. It's about 300,000 for school fees, even though some things might qualify. Some people will be qualified for certain scholarships. For that, I will be willing to support 2 people with 10% of their school fees. Please hold me to account, but you will show me why I will support you with 10% of whatever school fees you are asked to pay next year. So whether the school fees is 300,000, I will pay 10% for you. If you get a scholarship and they say, the school fees is 200 or 250,000, I will pay that 10% of that thing. I'm committing to 2 people, but you will show me why. You have to show why I would support you with 10%. Why? It's my own commitment to saying these politics that we are shouting, go register, learn. I have people who are attending the class now and they're like, really, 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 really. Or who were in class with me. Some people know these things. They've been in government for some time. I don't know. But I didn't know. And some of us are so completely ignorant of the reality, the truth, not what has been happening. You know how you've been seeing something happening bad for so long, you think that's the only way. By the time you learn the correct thing, you go, wow, this is the truth. So we need to get the right knowledge first, and then we'll see how to balance it with the realities. The reason why I love the School of Politics, Policy, and Governance is that it's in the Nigerian context. It is real. The school was founded by Obi Ezekwesili out of a place of her failure, as it were, when she failed at running. She ran for president, and then she realized that there were things she didn't know. And out of that pain and failure, she said, what is missing? And so she went to school, and she got this fellowship that allowed her study how to fix politics. And the template is so clear. And these are the templates that are used in countries where their politics, policy, and governance is good. No country has it perfect, but some are better than others. Google it, the Electoral College of Nigeria. I said it, there's not 2. Electoral College Nigeria. There's only one Electoral College Nigeria, and there's only one School of Politics, Policy, and Governance. Or you add School of Politics, Policy, Governance, Obi Ezekwesili, it will come up. It will definitely come up. Even in Google, you try different searches until you find the one you are looking for. We are still on, 7:15. Oh my word. I think we have 2 more verses to go. It's wrong to penalize good behavior or make good citizens pay for the crimes of others. The one who knows much says little. An understanding person remains calm. That's my desire, that I will stay calm because of the vast amount of understanding that I have. That's my goal. That's what I want. That's my desire, to be calm because of the quality of understanding I have, and to say little, but let every little that I say be seasoned with salt and grace, with power and impact. That is my desire going forward. 2023, which starts when? Starts now. Even dunces who keep quiet are thought to be wise. As long as they keep their mouth shut, they are smart. If you don't know the answer, keep quiet. It's not every conversation you join. Because the more you join the conversation, the more we realize whether you know what they're talking about or you don't know. If you are not sure, a wise man is known by what he says. A wise woman is known by what he says. Guess what? A foolish one is also known by what they say. So where you're not sure, where we are not sure, Joyce, can you hear me? Where you're not sure, do what? And if you will not be quiet, if you must speak, guess what you should do? Somebody writes it. If you must speak in a place where you're not sure, what should you be saying? Please respond. What should you be saying? Yes, thank you. Please like this video. Like the video. Like it wherever you're watching it on YouTube. Just click that like button now, because it helps the video get discovered by others. When you're in a place and you're not sure what to say, what exactly should you be saying? Ask questions. That is it. Ask questions. That is the only thing that you are allowed to do. That's the only thing you're allowed to say when you're not sure, is to ask a question. Oh, why is this way? What is that? Oh, really? Question. I was at a program years ago and they invited somebody to give a speech on something. When she got there, she said, I'm not sure why I was asked to give this speech, because this is not really my forte. In fact, I have questions. So perhaps I would be the amplifier of the questions that some of us will have in our hearts. So these are certain questions I have, and I would like to be answered at this program. Number one, number two, number three. Am I speaking the minds of people here? People said yes. I loved her. For, somebody else might have come up because they say, come and speak. You will now come and start rambling rubbish. She came. You remember that thing about shame factor? She dropped it on her chair. She didn't carry it with her up. In fact, she left the shame outside and said, I don't know. So here are my questions. And guess what? She was considered wise for doing that. So when in doubt, ask questions. Remember that even in the, is it 6? What were we taught in science in JS1? Introductory science in JS1. I think 6 things that scientists do. There is observation. There is also asking questions. They are 2 different points on those 6 things. I'm trying to remember what they are. There is the experimenting, there is something, there is observation, there is asking. So ask in addition to observing, because what you see as an observation may not be the full picture. I noticed that this person is keeping water under her table. Is it that she's stealing it because she's putting the water under her table? That's an observation, but that's not the whole picture. It's good to go and ask her, why are you keeping this water under the table? Oh, I'm keeping it because, madam, this person said we should keep here because of the guests that we're expecting from Asaba. They would arrive late, so she had told me to keep them here. So you observed, you noticed, but the question gave you the full picture. Don't run only based on observation. You might get half-truths, which is what some of us are doing with our politics. We've observed the bad, and so we are running with half-truths. Oh, everybody's bad, everybody's wicked, corruption everywhere. That's an observation. It's not the full picture. When you ask questions, you realize that some people are not corrupt at all. At all. They are just not vocal. It gives the full picture. So finally, before we leave, I remind us of the water challenge that starts today. 2 liters of water every day for 2 weeks to help us stay hydrated, to help us stay in our best shape in this season that is either very hot, dry, cold, and of course, festive. And during festive seasons, it might be our hydration that would suffer. We might eat and drink everything else and forget the one thing that our bodies really need, which is water. So set reminders for 6 a.m. if you're awake at 6, but 9, 12, and maybe 3 to drink. Easiest way is to do it in batches of 50 cls. But if you can't do 50 cl, do smaller bits. And some who want to push themselves to drink 1 liter at a time, try it. Just be careful. There are different ways your bodies will respond. Your weeing pattern, your peeing pattern, you might need to pee every 30 minutes. It might also help you reduce the amount of eating, because when you are fully hydrated, you might, just might, I'm not saying you will, you might not feel as hungry as when you are dehydrated. When you're very dehydrated, you might want to put things in your mouth, which it might be you interpreting dehydration as hunger. You might be interpreting thirst as hunger. So you might tend to eat more, but when you're fully hydrated and robust. So please ensure that you hold yourself accountable to the challenge, to drinking enough water, to staying healthy. Where many of us who are going on break from school and from work might find ourselves on our devices a lot more. We might be catching up on series. So dry eyes might be something you would battle with. And if you're in Nigeria where the place is dry, you want to stay hydrated. You really want to stay hydrated. So cheers to water. Cheers to life. Like I said before, your tea is not water. Your Fanta, your Sprite, because they say they have the same color doesn't mean they're the same thing. Don't say I'm drinking Sprite, that can serve. It's not water. Water for water. Cheers. And for those who say, oh, I can't drink water, I don't like the taste in my mouth. Remember, it's a narrative that you've told yourself for a long time. You can change the narrative. You can also add something to the water to give it taste, but something healthy. You can throw in some lemon, some lime, depending on different factors. Please search and ask questions. What's that other thing some people add to their water that makes it more bearable? When it's cold, it might be more bearable when the water is cold. If you are drinking room temperature water, that's when you might battle more. But so check yourself, be honest, have the conversation with yourself. If the water is cold, then it might be easier for you to drink. So don't say, oh, it must be room temperature. No. Drink the temperature of water that makes it easier for you to cope with, so that we reduce the number of excuses, because excuses are real. I love you, and I'm rooting for you this wonderful day, the rest of the year, and in 2023. Bye for now.